working on crayfish for a while now, so we've been learning a lot about crayfish, right? So what are some things that you remember learning about the crayfish? What are some things? What's one thing that you could tell me about the crayfish? Go ahead.
They live on land and on water.
Okay, so one is that they live on land and on water. Okay, how about you, Jessica? What did you learn about the crayfish? Anything like how its body structure, where it lives, how it eats. What's one of the things that you could tell me about the crayfish?
It eats cat.
Okay, yeah, a crayfish can eat cat food, and that's what we give them here in the classroom, right? Okay, so we've been learning about the crayfish, but we still need to learn a little bit more details, like more specific details. For example, exactly how much does a crayfish eat? Exactly how, like the life cycle, a little bit more about its actual life cycle. So that's what we're going to do today when we're going to read this book, Crustaceans. Now today, what we're going to start first is we're going to do this KWL chart. Now we're going to start first with what we know. So what exactly what we know? So for example, Marcin said that they could live both on land and water, and then you said they can eat cat food. So what I want you to do is for the first column, you're just going to write what you already know about the crayfish. And then for the second part, what we want to know is what else do you want to know about the crayfish? Like more details. For example, like how many eggs does a crayfish lay? Maybe that's one thing that we haven't learned yet in class. Or another one is more about its territory, like what specific territory do they have that they protect? Okay? So why don't we start off with the first one, and I want you to write down stuff that we already know. Do you think you could do two more? Okay, that's a good one. Crayfish can cat food. Now what's another thing that we've learned these weeks? For example, what are these things called that the crayfish have? You know what they're called? Yeah, yeah. Pincers, yeah. So how many does a crayfish have? Two, so that's a good one. That's a good one you can write down for what you know. I like how you're looking at the chart though, so you can remember with the pincers how you spell it. Right. So now that you have all of them, how about we go on to the next one is what we want to learn. So what do you want to learn about the crayfish now? What specific details do you want to know about the crayfish? What do you want to know about the crayfish? What would you like to learn about it that we haven't learned in class yet?
How much do they eat?
Okay, so then that's one that you're going to write down right here. How much do they eat? You're going to write it on this column right here. How about you, Jessica? What do you want?
How much they weigh?
How much they weigh? That's a good one. Because it could be different sizes. So what's another thing to learn about the crayfish? What else would you like to learn about the crayfish?
More about their territory.
You want to learn more about their territory? Okay, then you can write it down on this column right here. How about you, Jessica? What else would you like to learn besides how much they weigh? What else would you like to learn? Ooh, how do they sleep? That's a very good question. How do crayfish sleep? Okay, so now that we have all this, now, what categories of information do we expect to use? So where do you think we're going to find this information? Or do you think we would find it on what a crayfish looks like? If we want to find out about its territory, do you think we'll find it in the section about what do crayfish look like?
No.
No, what kind of a category do you think we're going to look at?
Crayfish's territories.
Okay, that's a good one. So then we would look for the first one, we're going to look at their territories. So we're going to read about their territory. So you could write that one on A right here. So you can write the territory. Now how about how do they sleep? Where do you think you'll find that in the book? For example, will you find that on how much they eat? Do you think you would find that there?
Yes.
When how much they eat, you could find how much they sleep in the same paragraph?
No.
No. So how about Marcia, how about we help out Jessica? If she's trying to find out how do they sleep, where do you think we would find that? Do you remember that word we learned in class about the stuff that crayfish do? Starts with the B, do you remember? Like their behaviors. So maybe when we read about their behaviors, maybe we could find out how do they sleep. That's something that how do they sleep? Like do they like go to sleep like we do, or what do you think they do? So maybe we could find out their behaviors. We could see how do they sleep. You want to write for the care? So you can write behaviors. Mm-hmm. So it's B. You could spell it. You want me to help you spell it out? Or you know how to spell it? Okay, it's B-E-H-V. I-O-R. Okay? So then we're going to start reading the book, and then as we go along, if we find something that you learned that's new, then that's what we're going to write in this category, where it says what we learned, and this we're going to write it right here, okay? So once I'm reading and you find something that's new that you learned, you go, oh, stop, Ms. Rodriguez, and then it'll stop so that you can write it in, okay? Okay, so you're going to follow along with this article that I've made copies of, okay? Okay, so to begin with, here's a picture first on this page, so I can show you this one, okay? So there's a picture that we have here. What do you think what this picture is about? What do you think this picture is?
Crayfish?
Yeah, it's probably like one of those type of crayfish. Does it look like our crayfish?
No.
No, it looks different, doesn't it? So how about we read a little bit more about crayfish? And it starts with the senses, how crustaceans react. So we can follow along here, okay?